The ocean breathes in whispers, a rhythm older than memory, a song that never ends beneath the stars. Waves rise and fall like ancient verses, carrying secrets across horizons no map can hold. In the heart of this endless blue, stories are born and carried, like pearls hidden in quiet shells. One story lingers deeper than the rest, told in currents, sung in tides, and echoed in storms. It speaks of a throne, untouched by time, resting where sunlight fades and silence grows. A throne of coral and pearl, woven by the sea itself, glowing with the pulse of eternity. Legends call it the eternal Ocean Throne, a seat of balance shaped by Poseidon's will. It is not a crown of conquest, nor a symbol of fear, but a beacon of harmony and guardianship. Sailors whisper of glimpses, golden coral beneath the waves, a shimmer that vanishes in a blink. Some say the sea hides it to protect its truth, revealing it only to those who listen deeply. Tonight, we dive into that story, carried by voice, by sound, by the unbroken tide of time. Welcome, traveler, to the tale of the eternal ocean throne of Poseidon. The sea begins as a whisper, drifting across the surface, soft as breath and ancient as memory. Each wave carries a voice, and each ripple holds a fragment of a forgotten song. Listen closely, and the sound becomes more than water. It becomes a language of the deep. The ocean speaks, not in words, but in rhythms older than time and wider than horizons. Its whispers linger in the shells that wash upon the shore, echoes of endless journeys. Children hold those shells to their ears and hear the breath of eternity. Sailors stand on decks at night and feel the pull of tides guiding them beyond the stars. Fishermen cast their nets and hear a hum below, a reminder that the sea listens as well. Legends say the ocean is alive, vast, and dreaming, remembering everything it touches. It remembers the first drop of rain that met the first wave. It remembers the footprints washed away from forgotten shores. It remembers the songs of creatures who swam before memory had a name. But above all, it remembers the throne. The whispers turn sharper when the story bends toward it, like wind shifting before a storm. The throne is not carved by hand or forged by fire. It is grown by current and coral, shaped by silence, touched by moonlight. Hidden beneath fathoms, the ocean holds it close, guarding it like a heart within a chest. Some say the whispers are fragments of Poseidon's own voice, carried through water and salt. Others believe they are the breath of the throne itself, steady and eternal. Whichever truth lingers, the sea never denies its presence. At dusk, the horizon glows, and sailors hear a hum rising from the waves. It threads through the wind, curling like silver smoke around their thoughts. They know the sea is reminding them of its secret, though it never shows its face. The whispers grow clearer on nights of calm, when the water lies flat like glass. They weave stories of balance, of the dance between storm and stillness. For the throne is not a seat of power alone, but of patience and harmony. Each current bending toward it carries the memory of its purpose. And so, the sea tells the story over and over, as if afraid we might forget. The whispers move from coast to coast, carried by gulls and drifting wood. Travelers tell of dreams filled with oceans, though they have never sailed. Children fall asleep to the lull of tides and wake with visions of golden coral. The throne becomes a myth, a rumor, and yet always more than a story. It is as if the ocean plants seeds of memory in every ear willing to listen. Sometimes the whispers come as warnings. Waves rise uncalled, winds shift without reason, and voices tremble through the spray. Not to frighten, but to remind. The throne is eternal, and balance must endure. The sea does not roar to harm, it roars to be heard. And if you stand long enough at the edge of the shore, you may hear it yourself. A hum, soft at first, then deep, as though the earth itself is breathing through the tide. It is the same hum sailors hear, the same song children find in shells. It is the throne speaking, without language, without end. Every drop of water carries the same rhythm, beating like a heart beneath the waves. And so the ocean whispers, night after night, century after century. It whispers to remind us that the eternal throne of Poseidon still waits, untouched. Not in stories, not in dreams, but in the living silence beneath the sea. Listen, and the sea will carry you closer. Listen, and you will hear the first chapter of eternity, the whisper of the sea. The sea is vast, but within its endless expanse there is order, shaped by a hand both gentle and immense. That hand belongs to Poseidon, the guardian of waves, the keeper of tides, the lord of shifting blue. He is not thunder, nor flame, nor wind alone, but the harmony that binds them where water reigns. To know Poseidon is not to fear him, but to sense the balance he carries in every drop of sea. His presence lingers not in statues of stone, but in the pulse of tides against quiet shores. Children playing on beaches feel his laughter in the foam that chases their feet. Sailors navigating storms feel his warning in the crash of waves that test their courage. Fishermen mending nets sense his patience in the steady rhythm of the returning tide. Poseidon is more than a god. He is the living embodiment of the ocean's vast heart. Legends describe his eyes as deep as trenches, reflecting calm one moment and storm the next. They say his voice is carried in the hush before a wave rises and in the roar when it breaks. But those who listen closely know he speaks not of anger, but of respect. He reminds mortals that the sea is not theirs to claim, but theirs to honor. His throne, eternal and unseen, is not a symbol of dominion, but of guardianship. It rests where currents converge, where silence meets song, where life begins and ends. There he is said to watch over the creatures of the deep as a shepherd watches his flock. Whales rise in reverence, dolphins leap in joy, and coral blooms as if touched by his hand. Each tide carries his rhythm, each current bends with his will, unseen yet undeniable. The sea knows him, trusts him, and sings his name in waves that never tire. Poseidon's domain is not just water, but balance itself. He commands storms not to punish, but to remind that power is sacred, never careless. He grants calm seas not as a gift, but as a lesson in gratitude and peace. Every moment with him is a dialogue, a question asked by humanity, an answer given by the tide. For ages, sailors have lifted their voices in prayers to him, casting offerings to the waves. They do not ask for riches, only safe passage, only harmony with the waters they enter. And often, the sea responds with mercy, carrying them home to the arms of waiting families. Poseidon does not dwell in palaces of gold or halls of marble. His kingdom is vaster than any empire, stretching to every horizon kissed by salt and wind. His subjects are countless, from the smallest plankton to the grandest whale. Each is equal in his gaze, for each plays its part in the eternal rhythm of the sea. Yet Poseidon is not bound by water alone. Storm clouds gather at his command, lightning bends toward his will, and earth itself quakes. But even these powers serve balance, never chaos, never cruelty. He is a guardian, a reminder that strength without care is only destruction. When sailors speak of him, they lower their voices, not in fear, but in reverence. They know he listens, always, in every crashing wave and every silent tide. they know he is present, even when unseen, guiding them through darkness and light. For in his domain, there is no separation between storm and calm, between fear and wonder. All belong to him. All serve the balance he protects with unwavering devotion. The eternal ocean throne remains his seat, though hidden from mortal eyes. It is the heart of his kingdom, a beacon that reminds all life of the harmony he sustains. To speak of Poseidon is to speak of the sea itself, vast, powerful, and endlessly patient. He is the current beneath the surface, the silence beneath the roar, the guardian of all tides. And as long as the ocean breathes, so too will his domain endure. This is Poseidon's truth, whispered through waves and written upon every shore. This is his domain, eternal and unbroken, boundless as the sea itself. The throne was not born of hammer or chisel, nor raised by the will of mortal kings. It came into being as the ocean itself took shape, woven from elements both delicate and eternal. In the beginning, currents carved patterns in the sand, etching spirals that grew with the tide. Coral rose like living stone, branching outward in colors unseen by any shore-bound eye. Pearls formed slowly, each one a droplet of time captured in shimmering white. Seashells fused with crystal salt, their edges softened by centuries of drifting tides. Every fragment, every grain, carried the memory of the sea's endless patience. Where the waters met in stillness, the throne took root, anchored in silence and balance. It was not a creation of possession, but a gift of the ocean to itself. The throne was shaped by currents that curled like invisible hands, gentle yet unyielding. Moonlight reached through the water and kissed the surface of the coral crown. Sunlight pierced the depths in fleeting rays, gilding its seat with fire from above. The throne glowed faintly, not with brightness, but with a pulse, as if alive. Legends say that it breathes with the rhythm of tides, rising and falling in perfect harmony. Each curve of coral tells a story, each pearl a silent witness to passing centuries. No mortal eyes watched its birth, and no mortal tools touched its form. The ocean itself is its sculptor, its guardian, its eternal keeper. Even the creatures of the deep seem to know their part in its making. Fish carried fragments of shell, laying them gently among the coral branches. Turtles brushed sand across its base, steadying the foundation against the shifting current. Whales sang low songs that stirred the waters, echoing in the coral's hollow heart. Every sound, every movement seemed to guide the throne's creation. When it was complete, the sea grew still, as if pausing to admire its own gift. The eternal ocean throne shimmered softly, hidden yet present, patient yet powerful. It stood not as a monument to rule, but as a reminder of harmony's quiet strength. In its seat rests the balance of storm and calm, of rise and fall, of beginning and end. The throne holds no crown, no scepter, only the language of waves. It is said that those who draw near feel its hum through the water, like a heartbeat, not a call to worship, but an invitation to listen, to understand, to remember. Generations of sailors speak of seeing its glow through cracks in the deep. They tell of shapes moving around it, guardians perhaps, or echoes of its making. Some call it a dream, others a warning, but all agree it is alive. Alive in ways stone cannot be, alive in ways fire cannot endure. The throne is the sea itself, distilled into form, a vessel of eternity. It was not made to be found, nor seized, nor conquered. It was made to remind that power lies not in possession, but in patience. The ocean's greatest gift is not its storms or its treasures, but its endurance. And so the throne endures, untouched by time, unbroken by tide. It glimmers still in the quiet depths, a pulse of coral and pearl and endless water. Those who seek it must not demand, but surrender, listening to the silence it guards. For the throne reveals itself only to those who understand balance. And even then, only for a moment before the sea folds its secret once more. The birth of the throne is not an end, but a beginning. It is the ocean's first story, told without words, carried in waves forever. And as the sea breathes, so too does its throne, eternal, unseen, alive. The ocean is more than water. It is the meeting of countless forces, woven into a single, living fabric. Currents flow like arteries, carrying warmth from the equator to the farthest frozen edges of the world. Winds rise from distant shores, pressing against the waves, sculpting their rhythm and their voice. The earth beneath shifts and bends, guiding the path of trenches, mountains, and coral valleys. Together, these forces form a harmony, and at its center, the throne of Poseidon endures. The throne is not only a seat, but a bridge where elements gather and balance one another. Its coral roots drink from the earth, steady against the tremors of shifting stone. Its pearl crown glimmers with light, carried through water by the grace of the sun. Its silence resonates with the breath of wind, soft and unbroken, threading through the surface. Each tide that rises and falls around it is a reminder that nothing exists alone. Storms roar across the sea, yet their strength is tempered by the calm that follows. The sun scorches the surface, yet the deep remains cool, a sanctuary for hidden life. Even in darkness, bioluminescent creatures glow, carrying their own fragments of borrowed light. The throne gathers these contradictions, weaving them into balance without conflict. It is said that when Poseidon sits upon it, he feels the pulse of every element at once. The heat of fire trembling in volcanic vents, the strength of stone buried beneath endless water, the breath of wind whispering across the surface of waves, and the song of the ocean itself, eternal and unbroken. This is the harmony of the throne, not forged by will, but born of coexistence. For harmony is not silence. It is many voices carried together without drowning one another. The throne listens to the language of each element and answers in stillness. Legends tell of nights when the stars align and the sea glows brighter than fire. On those nights, sailors claim to hear the throne singing, a chorus of wind, earth, water, and light. Not a melody of one note, but the weaving of countless sounds into one. Some say that song is the secret heartbeat of the world. The creatures of the deep know this harmony better than any mortal. Whales rise to breathe, their songs vibrating through miles of ocean. Dolphins leap in arcs, scattering droplets like silver sparks into the air. Coral reefs hum with life, a city built on quiet cooperation. Even the smallest plankton glows, contributing its faint shimmer to the ocean's light. Together, they form an orchestra, a symphony that never ends. And the throne, eternal and steady, is the conductor who never lifts a hand. Its presence alone brings balance, reminding the sea of its own unity. Storms may rage, but calm will follow. Currents may shift, but they will find their path. The harmony is never broken, only reshaped, as the throne listens and holds it all. To stand upon the shore and hear the crash of waves is to hear a fragment of this song. To dive beneath the surface and feel the silence is to sense the balance in its fullest form. The throne rests at the heart of this harmony, unseen yet undeniable. It is the anchor of all elements, the quiet center of an eternal circle. Those who seek it cannot come with force, for force disrupts the very balance it protects. Only those who understand that fire needs water and wind needs earth can feel its presence. The throne reveals itself not in power, but in peace, when all forces are held as one. And so the ocean continues, carrying harmony in every tide, in every storm, in every calm. The eternal ocean throne remains, a symbol not of command, but of coexistence. It waits in silence, listening, enduring, holding the song of the world in its choral embrace. This is the harmony of the elements, unbroken, eternal, alive in the heart of the sea. Beneath the rolling waves lies not only the throne, but a gathering place, a court unlike any on land. Here, silence is filled with voices that do not speak in words, but in rhythm, gesture, and song. The ocean court surrounds Poseidon's seat, alive with creatures that honor the balance he guards. Dolphins dart in circles, weaving patterns of light as they leap and dive with graceful delight. Their laughter is music, a melody carried far across the water, playful yet loyal to the deep. Sea turtles glide with solemn dignity, moving like ancient scribes across the ocean floor. Their shells carry markings shaped by years, each line a history of journeys beneath the tides. Seahorses cling to drifting kelp, tiny yet steadfast, guardians of the smallest corners of the sea. They bow gently with the current, as if saluting the throne from their delicate watchposts. Schools of fish sweep together like living tapestries, shimmering in hues of silver and gold. They form vast shapes that shift and bend as though painting stories upon the water. Above, seabirds hover and dive, carrying echoes of the court to the farthest horizons. And in the shadows, merfolk are said to watch, voices soft as lullabies, eyes bright as stars. They are keepers of song, blending human memory with the eternal wisdom of the sea. When they gather, their chorus rises, weaving with whale song into a harmony that fills the court. This is not a place of judgment or conquest, but of balance and reverence. Every creature, great or small, has a place in the circle, none forgotten, none dismissed. The throne watches, steady and still as the court moves in endless rhythm. Whales arrive with voices that roll like thunder, yet soothe like a mother's breath. Their songs stretch for miles, carrying news of distant seas and unspoken truths. Crabs scuttle at the base of the throne, tidying coral and clearing fragments of sand. Even their tiny movements matter, for all are part of the ocean's greater order. Legends say Poseidon appears among them not as a king demanding service, but as a guide. He walks with dolphins, swims beside whales, and rests among corals as one of them. The court honors him not through obedience, but through harmony with the sea itself. Every gathering is a reminder. Balance is not a crown, but a shared responsibility. The ocean court reflects the throne, living proof of the peace it represents. Sailors who dream of the court describe it glowing with light, alive with music of water. They speak of colors brighter than gems, woven into a moving kingdom beneath the tide. Some awaken with tears, unable to explain the beauty they have glimpsed in slumber. Perhaps the sea gifts these visions to remind mortals of what harmony can be. The ocean court is eternal, renewed with every generation of creatures that joins its circle. Turtles pass on wisdom to hatchlings who crawl bravely into the sea's embrace. Dolphins teach their young the songs that echo through waves like laughter eternal. Merfolk weave old tales into new melodies, keeping memory alive with each passing age. And still the throne watches, quiet, patient, unyielding, glowing softly in its coral crown. It does not command the court, but anchors it, holding together the harmony of all things. Those who listen at night may hear the faintest echo of its chorus in the waves. The crash of surf may hide it, but within, there is a rhythm steady as a heartbeat. It is the voice of the court, alive, constant, enduring in its devotion to the sea. For as long as the throne remains, the ocean court will never falter. It is a gathering of guardians, keepers of balance, singers of eternity. Together, they remind the world that harmony is not fragile, but unbreakable. The court continues, beyond time, beyond tide, alive in the heart of the ocean's embrace. Far beyond the horizon lies a mystery, whispered by tides and carried in dreams across the ages. It is the secret of the throne's origin, a tale older than kingdoms and deeper than memory itself. No scroll records it. No mortal has seen its birth. Yet the sea remembers and tells it in fragments. Some say the throne was woven from coral the day the first wave kissed the newborn earth. Others believe it rose from the heart of a star that fell into the sea and chose never to fade. But the most ancient whispers tell of Poseidon himself shaping it in silence, alone and patient. They say he walked the seabed, listening to the pulse of the earth through stone and current. He gathered fragments not of treasure, but of essence. Light, shadow, salt, and song. From coral, he shaped the base, so it would grow and endure with the living ocean. From pearl, he shaped its crown, so it would shine with purity even in the deepest dark. From sand, he shaped its seat, a reminder that all things return to the simplest grain. And from silence, he shaped its heart, so the throne would listen more than it spoke. When it was complete, the ocean itself bowed, recognizing the throne as its eternal keeper. Waves calmed, winds hushed, and creatures gathered in quiet awe around the glowing seat. Poseidon did not sit upon it at first, for it was not made for ruling, but for balance. He placed his trident beside it and whispered to the sea, promising guardianship, not command. The throne shimmered, alive with harmony, glowing as though it breathed with the ocean itself. From that day, it was known not as a seat of power, but as the eternal ocean throne. It carried no chains, demanded no vows, and yet its presence alone bound the sea together. The whales sang of it in their low, endless songs, carrying its story to every distant shore. Merfolk carved its likeness in shells and stone, passing the legend through generations. Even the smallest creatures felt its call, drawn to the harmony it radiated like light. The throne became more than a creation. It became a symbol of coexistence. Its origin was a reminder that the sea itself was not made to dominate, but to embrace. Storms would come and go, but the throne remained, steady in its coral crown. Earthquakes shook the seabed, yet its roots only grew deeper, unbroken, unshaken. Even time could not erode it, for it was woven with patience and the eternal breath of tides. Some say Poseidon visits it still, not to claim, but to listen, to feel the song of his domain. When he touches the throne, it glows brighter, as if the ocean itself sighs in relief. But he does not linger, for the throne belongs not to him, but to the sea itself. Sailors dream of its glow, though they do not know the source, only the comfort it brings. Fishermen claim their nets feel lighter when they pray to the throne's unseen balance. Children born near the shore sometimes wake at night, saying they hear its gentle hum. And always, the sea carries its origin, not as a tale of conquest, but of creation. The throne is eternal because it was never built on force, but on harmony itself. Its foundation is not stone, but the bond between all elements woven together. Its strength is not fear, but the quiet power of balance that endures beyond time. So the legend continues. retold by waves, reshaped by each tide, but never forgotten. The throne's origin is not written in words, but etched in the very breath of the ocean. Every ripple, every song, every calm and every storm carries its memory. And those who listen closely enough may still hear it whisper, balance, harmony, eternity. The sea is a library without walls, and its stories are written not in ink, but in currents and whispers. Every ripple holds a memory. Every tide carries a fragment of truth across distant shores. And within this vast memory, the eternal ocean throne is a chapter told again and again. Legends travel not only in waves, but in voices, passed from sailors to children, from dreamers to poets. One tale begins with a fisherman who claimed to hear a chorus rising from beneath his boat. He said the water glowed with colors no gem could capture, and the sound lulled him into peace. When he awoke, his nets were filled not with fish, but with light shimmering like silver mist. He returned to shore empty of answers, but full of awe, speaking of the throne's hidden song. Another story tells of a child who wandered the beach at night and followed a humming in the air. She said the moonlight touched the sea and parted it, revealing a shimmer deep below. Her family laughed, calling it a dream, yet she swore she had seen the throne's pearl crown. Travelers crossing oceans speak of visions rising in storms, coral shining through lightning flashes. They say the throne reveals itself not in calm, but in moments when balance is most needed. A captain once claimed his ship was lost in fog when a glow guided them safely to shore. He never saw land ahead, only a golden shimmer beneath the waves, leading the way. When asked what saved him, he answered softly, the sea itself, or perhaps its silent throne. Merchants on long voyages carry charms carved like thrones, believing it brings harmony to trade. Bards sing of Poseidon's seat, not as a relic of fear, but as a beacon of eternal trust. Even inland, far from the ocean, echoes of the legend drift in lullabies and bedtime tales. Parents tell children the sea holds a heart that beats for all life, gentle yet unyielding. The throne is described in many forms: a coral crown, a pearl seat, or a jewel of light. Yet every version holds the same truth. It is eternal, balanced, and unseen by greed. These stories remind mortals that the ocean is not only water, but wisdom and memory. The throne is its keeper, and through stories, it lives beyond in the reach of time. Fishermen whisper prayers to it before casting nets, asking not for plenty, but for balance. They hope the sea will give enough, never too much, never too little, guided by the throne. Sailors paint its likeness on sails, believing it will guide them back home across wild storms. Mothers sing of it as a lullaby, telling children that the sea cradles all who listen. Even in temples far from shore, priests speak of balance as the ocean's eternal gift. For the throne is not a secret to be hidden, but a truth to be remembered in every tide. And so the legend weaves itself across lands, not bound by one culture or one tongue. Every voice adds a thread, and together they form a tapestry as wide as the ocean itself. The throne may rest unseen in the deep, yet in stories it rises again and again. No ship can anchor near it, no hand can touch it, yet every heart can know it. It is present not through sight, but through the harmony it inspires across seas and generations. Some say stories themselves are the throne's true power, carried by the waves into mortal hearts. For if balance lives in memory and song, then the throne will never fade. It is eternal, not because it is untouched, but because it is remembered, shared, retold. And in every whisper of the sea, the legend breathes again, alive in story, alive in tide. Deep in the ocean, light fades and shadows grow. Yet life thrives in colors the surface has never seen. Coral gardens bloom like stars scattered across the seabed, weaving crowns of red, gold, and violet. Every branch of coral is a story of patience, growing inch by inch through decades of silence. Fish dart among them, painting the living cathedral with movements quick as sparks of fire. Sea anemones wave in unseen currents, soft and bright as lanterns in a midnight sky. Jellyfish drift like ghosts, glowing in blues and purples, their bodies fragile yet eternal. The deep sea is not empty. It is a gallery of wonders hidden from hurried eyes. And at its center rests the throne, embraced by creatures that have made it their home. Crabs nestle in its coral roots, keeping the base clear as though tending sacred ground. Starfish cling to its sides, their arms spread like quiet guardians of the pearled seat. Schools of silverfish shimmer around it, circling like jewels in constant, shifting dance. Octopuses hide within its folds, masters of shadow, protectors of the throne's secret heart. Even eels weave through its coral frame, moving with the grace of winding rivers of light. Above, rays glide like wings, their shadows passing over the throne in silence. All these creatures are not subjects, but companions, part of the throne's eternal court. Their presence is not commanded, but offered, born of trust in the harmony it radiates. The throne is alive not through Poseidon's power alone, but through the life it shelters. Coral grows thicker each century, weaving crowns higher, glowing with hidden fire. Pearls rest in its embrace, formed by time, each one carrying the wisdom of patience. Barnacles cling to its frame, each tiny shell a testament to persistence through tides. Together, they make the throne not just a seat, but a living testament to coexistence. The ocean's creatures see it not as a relic, but as a home, a sanctuary of balance. Whales pass by and sing, their voices vibrating through the coral until it hums in reply. Dolphins leap around its edges, playing as though celebrating the throne's silent endurance. Sharks glide slowly nearby, circling not in threat, but in recognition of its ancient presence. Even the smallest plankton glow, brighter when drifting close, as though touched by its harmony. This living court proves the throne is more than stone, more than coral, more than pearl. It is a promise, etched in every creature that finds shelter and balance in its glow. Legends say that when the throne breathes, the corals shift, and the pearls shine brighter. Some claim they have seen it pulse with light, like a heart beating in rhythm with the sea. No hand carved it, no tool shaped it, for the throne is a creation of time and harmony. And so, it grows still, adding to itself with every tide, alive in ways mortals cannot fathom. To witness it is to see not power, but patience, not command, but coexistence. The living throne reminds the ocean that strength lies in unity, not in force. Every creature, great or small, contributes to its beauty and balance without rivalry. A court where no one reigns, but all belong, bound by harmony alone. This is the secret of the throne's enduring glow. It is alive with the sea it protects. Not a monument of stone, but a breathing harmony, a living cathedral of the deep. The eternal ocean throne remains, not silent, but singing through coral, pearl, and life. It is the heart of the sea, beating in colors, in songs, in endless living wonder. Above the waters, mortals live in rhythm with tides, though they rarely know the throne that guides them. Villages cling to the shoreline, their lives shaped by the moods of waves and winds. Fishermen rise before dawn, their boats cutting the stillness as gulls call in the gray light. They trust the ocean not only for food, but for wisdom whispered through every tide. When storms arrive, they bow to its strength, knowing balance is not always gentle. Children play on the sand, building castles that crumble with the waves, laughing at impermanence. They learn young that the sea gives and takes, teaching lessons without words. Elders tell stories by the fire, their voices weaving legends of Poseidon and his throne. For them, the ocean is not just water, but a presence, a teacher, a guardian of truth. Merchants sail beyond the horizon, their ships carrying spices, silks, and stories across seas. They whisper prayers before departure, not for riches, but for safe passage under watchful tides. The throne's unseen hand guides their journeys, though they never know its hidden glow. Even inland, farmers feel its touch when rain falls, a gift carried from ocean to earth. Every river, every stream, returns its water to the throne's eternal embrace. And so, the balance spreads far beyond the shore, binding all life to the sea. Sailors sing songs that echo across harbors, their melodies rising like prayers into the night. Their voices carry gratitude, sorrow, and hope, all entrusted to the waves. Though none have seen the throne, they sense its presence in every calm after storm. It is the silence that follows thunder, the stillness that mends fear with peace. For generations, families carve small tokens shaped like thrones, carried in pockets for luck. These charms are not idols, but reminders that balance lies in trust, not control. Mothers tie them to nets, believing the sea will bless the catch with harmony. Fathers wear them on voyages, hoping the ocean's heart will guide them home. Communities gather for festivals of water, pouring offerings of flowers into the tide. They thank the sea for its gifts and honor the throne they cannot see but always feel. No temple is grander than the shore itself, where waves meet sand in eternal prayer. And every crashing wave is a hymn, a reminder of the throne's quiet guardianship. Legends say that in moments of need, mortals glimpse a shimmer beneath the surface. Some speak of pearls glowing in moonlight, others of coral crowns shining in storms. But all agree the throne is not revealed for glory, only for guidance and balance. Its miracles are not grand displays, but small mercies. A boat guided, a storm softened. The people know these as blessings, though they never claim to own them. For the throne belongs to no one, yet it belongs to all who honor its harmony. Its influence stretches across cultures, uniting voices in reverence, though words may differ. On one shore, they call it the coral crown. On another, the pearl seat of the deep. Names change, but the truth remains. The ocean holds a throne of eternal balance. Mortals need not see it to believe, for its presence lives in every tide that touches land. And so, without knowing, they live in rhythm with a throne that beats in silence. They are guided not by command, but by harmony, unspoken yet eternal. The throne's song is not for one people, but for all, carried in waves across the world. It is the silent hand shaping destinies, the hidden heart that binds sea and shore. And though unseen, it is felt, like the pulse of the earth beneath every footstep. Scholars sit by candlelight, unrolling scrolls and maps, chasing mysteries hidden beneath waves. They seek not treasure, but knowledge, trying to trace the throne through time's shifting tides. Ancient texts speak of a pearl seat, glowing in storms, guiding sailors with a silent hand. Others describe a coral crown rising from depths, a living symbol of patience and harmony. No record shows the throne built, nor any hand shaping it, only whispers of its eternal birth. Philosophers argue whether it is a myth or truth, yet all agree its meaning outlives proof. For truth, they say, is not always seen but felt, like the pull of the tide on the shore. In marble halls, scholars debate the throne's purpose, scribbling notes with fevered intensity. Some claim it is Poseidon's gift, a reminder that power must yield to balance. Others insist it is the sea's own heart, formed not by gods, but by time and memory. Maps are drawn with strange marks where sailors told of glowing light beneath waves. Libraries store countless records of visions, each different yet echoing the same core. A pearl crown here, a coral seat there, yet always the same truth: eternal balance. Historians trace the legend across cultures, finding its echo in places far from the sea. In desert sands, tales speak of a throne of light, guiding caravans through storms of dust. In mountain villages, they tell of a hidden jewel, pulsing with the earth's steady rhythm. Though words differ, the heart is the same, a seat of balance beyond mortal reach. Poets write verses inspired by its unseen glow, painting the throne in language of stars. They say it is less a throne and more a promise, carved not in stone but in eternity. One poet wrote of hearing waves, even in silence, as though the sea lived within his heart. For him, the throne was not far away, but close, beating with every pulse of life. Scribes preserved these words with reverence, knowing stories carry truths beyond reason. The throne becomes more than myth. It becomes a mirror for human longing for harmony, for patience, for a strength that rules without chains. Theologians ponder whether the throne is divine or natural, yet find peace in its mystery. They teach that mystery itself is sacred, for not all truths are meant to be solved. Students gather in courtyards, whispering of the throne as if it were a star fallen to sea. They imagine its glow, not to own it, but to dream of a balance greater than kings. And in their dreams, they find courage, hope, and a sense of belonging to something vast. No scroll, no map, no lecture can capture the throne, yet still the search continues. For scholars know that seeking truth is as noble as finding it, perhaps more so. Each question they ask adds to the throne's story, weaving knowledge into its legend. Every doubt becomes part of its power, reminding all that mystery is eternal. Some whisper that the throne exists because it is remembered, shaped by countless voices. If forgotten, it might fade. But as long as stories live, so does the throne. Thus, they study not only to learn, but to keep alive the memory of balance. In the end, the throne needs no proof, for its truth lies in the harmony it inspires. Knowledge, like tides, comes and goes, but wisdom remains, steady as the sea. And so the scholars close their books at night, hearing the ocean in the silence. They know the throne waits, not to be found, but to be honored through wonder. For the eternal ocean throne is not merely history, but the living promise of balance. The sea does not end where the horizon fades. It continues, endless, holding stories older than stars. The eternal ocean throne is one such story, a whisper carried from tide to tide without ceasing. Its truth is not bound to coral or pearl, but to the harmony it keeps alive in every heart. For the throne is not only in the deep, it lives in the balance of waves and the silence of calm. It is in the laughter of children building castles that crumble, yet rise again with joy. It is in the songs of sailors who trust the sea, even when storms darken the skies. It is in the prayers of fishermen who ask not for plenty, but for balance in their nets. It is in the dreams of poets who write of light they have never seen, yet always feel. The throne does not need to be found, for it was never lost. It has always been present. It waits not as a monument, but as a reminder of patience, of unity, of eternal trust. Its glow is not a light for eyes, but a rhythm for souls, a heartbeat shared across creation. Generations have carried its story, shaping it with words, with hope, with wonder. Each telling is different, yet every telling is the same. The sea holds a throne of balance. Some say it belongs to Poseidon, others to time itself, yet all know it belongs to the ocean. And the ocean belongs to no one, yet it belongs to all who live under the same sky. The throne is eternal because it is remembered, because it is honored, because it is shared. So long as waves kiss the shore, its promise will remain, unbroken and undimmed. Even those who never sail or fish or see the sea still live by its gift of rain and river. For every drop of water carries the throne's memory, linking all life to its balance. And so, whether near or far, all are bound to its silent guardianship. The eternal ocean throne is not a crown for power, but a seat of harmony. It teaches that strength lies not in ruling, but in holding all things in gentle accord. Its wisdom is simple. No tide lasts forever, yet all tides return in rhythm. And from that rhythm, life flows, endlessly renewed, endlessly shared. If you listen closely, you can hear it even now, in the hush of waves, in the breath of wind. A whisper of balance, a song without words, a promise without end. The throne does not demand worship, only remembrance, only respect for what is shared. And when we honor the ocean, we honor the throne, and in turn, we honor life itself. Perhaps one day, a wanderer will see it glowing beneath the waves, crowned in coral and pearl. Perhaps not, for its truest form is not for eyes, but for hearts willing to listen. Either way, it remains, untouched, eternal, waiting in silence, yet alive in story. The sea is vast, and its mysteries endless, but the throne is its quiet heart. And hearts do not vanish, they endure, beating through ages, binding all things together. So let the story be told again and again, across lands and languages, across time itself. For in telling, the throne rises, glowing anew in memory, alive in every listener's soul. And as long as stories are spoken, the eternal ocean throne will never fade. It will remain, unseen yet present, silent yet singing, eternal as the sea itself.